Welcome back to Port Elizabeth, the beautiful city. This is part 29. We continue our walk that I did in October 2014. We're in Rose Street here with Russell Road a block behind me as I took this picture. Yeah, so I remember this used to be one of the early standalone pubs in Central called the Keg and something. There was a whole chain of them in the 90s. I don't think they've survived. Across the road is the Salvation Army headquarters, I think. I wonder if they're still there. And there's an extension of the Salvation Army in Clyde Street. So that's looking back down Rose with Le Bon over there. And some old world charm, as I put it, in Clyde Street. So this is where the community chest ended up. It began in 1952, and we saw it sign up on the Feather Market Hall. In the window, it had been a sign written on there. It is still going, though. Whether it's still here in this building, I'm not sure. This is quite interesting. At the top, towards the top of Clyde Street, you've got these small buildings next to that blue thing, which are very possibly among the early, they might have even been thatched cottages. Look at that. I mean, that's the sort of scale of building that was initially erected by the early settlers, I would imagine. I mean, chimneys on both ends, just a tiny cottage. But now we're back among the high-rises in Rink Street coming up. And that used to be a hotel across the road there. Forget the name. And an ice cream parlor here. Yeah, this was the Park Towers Hotel. But then it became an old age home, and I'm not sure what it is today. And looking back down Rink Street towards St. George's Park and the Westbourne Oval coming up in the distance there. But I don't continue down Rink because I take another right-hand turn and go down Parliament Street, another dodgy seeming area. I think this was a Saturday morning. So I encountered a few hungover people on my wanderings here. Those, you can just see them on the right. I should have taken better pictures. And even this one are two sort of, there's a little cluster of early buildings that have been somehow retained. So we head down Parliament Street. And yeah, this little church on the left was a Chinese restaurant when I got here. This one here. I think it's gone back to being a church. We'll see shortly. Yeah, so really garish sign writing there, but another possible early settler cottage that's become the Liquid Lounge. Yeah, so I can't read what it says on there, but I think it is some sort of church now. So this was the pharmacy on the left. back towards Parliament Street there. Excuse me. And this is Russell Road in the distance here, and the Technical College over there, which is quite a historic building as well. And looking down Russell Road, this beautiful building. In fact, several nice buildings down the street there. Very much similar design to the one we saw in Ivy Terrace. But there's the Tech. And across the road from it, this, what I call a disgrace, it is. But up from that disgraceful building, some more interesting and, pleasantly designed buildings of some vintage. And the Tech, we'll get onto who designed this in a minute. Somerset Street, the Tech sort of is on the corner of Somerset and Russell Road, I think. Yeah, so we're getting close to it. So Jones and McWilliams, it's the same people who designed the Grey High School, or Grey, McWilliams, I think, did the Campanile. So celebrated firm of architects. That's just a look down Russell Road. I walked around here, and of course, dirt, pollution, sort of filth, and this would have been the main entrance, but I don't think it's ever been used, not in many years. Quite a shame, really. I think I can zoom in on that. It says 1927, so not long after the Campanile, which was 23, this opened. So the same architect, and and the view back, those interesting gabled buildings. So heading on back up Russell Road towards the Horse Memorial, really. And there's a gentleman's lounge right next to this Bible church. Who knows what a gentleman's lounge is? I hate to think. And there used to be a petrol station here on the corner, but not sure what it is now. Is that the gentleman's lounge? Lincoln Building. Yes, it's got the stripper type figures down the bottom there, so that must be it. And back down Ring Street there. And now we're heading up into Westbourne Road towards the Oval. And this is a historic building here as well. I think I get some detail of it. That's the Westbourne Oval, which is a cycling track, but they play football and stuff there as well. And athletics, actually. I think it's more athletics than cycling. So note the type of roof here. It's a sort of, there's a word for it, but it takes a slight curve at the base, near the gutter. So it says here, when the PE college was formed, when several campuses were amalgamated, this building with its curved slate roof is part of it. I don't think it still is, or maybe it is. Here's a view into so there's a athletics track around there. I don't know if it was ever a cycling track. Now we're heading up towards another of PE's most sort of celebrated churches. That's St. Cuthbert's Grey Memorial Church. And it's got nothing to do with the Grey of Grey High School. It's spelled G-R-A-Y, not E-Y. And unlike the others, which are stone, this one, you'll see, we're going to go back to it, has been plastered. So that's just a different style. Across from it, across Westbourne Road, on the corner with Bingley Street, is the 1899 PE Ladies Benevolent Society building. So this is that, what would we call it? St. Cuthbert's Grey Memorial Church. Erected between 1884 and finally completed in 1933. Different stages. Built of brick and finished with rough cast concrete, with smoothly plastered copings, window, door surrounds, whatever. That back of that Benevolent Society buildings, look at the sash windows. St. Cuthbert's, that's across the road. That's now a restaurant. Oh, it is already Old Austria. That used to be further down in Richmond Hill, but now it's moved here. So a lovely design, eh? St. Cuthbert's Church, Anglican. Would have been lovely to go in, of course, but I don't think I got the chance. Just went into the grounds to walk around a bit. Then across from the church in Bingley Street is that interesting door or entrance. And that was a Scout headquarters. I wonder if this is the original Scout headquarters, because that was 1923 when Princess, whatever her name was, opened it. So the church from a distance, and the old Benevolent Society people. And the view across Cape Road. So we're in Cape Road now. We've actually missed the horse memorial is back there somewhere, I think. I don't know if I go back to it. Oh yes, there it is. So this narrow strip. It's pretty hidden against that foliage, those palms, but it is there, I promise. So again, in Cape Road, I mean, there's some lovely buildings, but so this is heading down Doncaster Road towards St. George's Park in the distance. And the jacarandas are in bloom, carpeting the road with blue. You can see that this was a posh area back in the early 20th century. Just by the fence, the gates and fence posts and nice tall trees. Now we're on the corner with Park Drive. St. George's across the road there. And that building here in the distance is another McWilliams masterpiece built in 1911. think we take a look in, and here's the remains of an early mansion, just the entrance. La Rochelle, eh? Yeah. And this one, the homestead. Beautiful entrance. So you can imagine most of these places had these ornate entrances, and then the buildings behind. So you can just see the sort of pointed gable there. Yeah. And just taking a look down the side of it towards the entrance. And I actually am familiar with this building. I've been inside, and it's just wood paneled and really ornate. 1911. Art Nouveau style. According to McLaughlin's book, Dream Houses of Moore Park, this is one of the earliest Cape Dutch revival style buildings in Port Elizabeth. Dominant concave gable of the main facade, windows set in arched vertical recesses separated by Tuscan pilasters. WCFM, those letters are those of the first owner, WCF Marshall. Interesting, eh? And I think we're heading back to the car, which is parked in about this area. Where fantastic building. I think this here they repeated an earlier part of this building to extend it. So I think that might have been the original. And then they built this piece on in the same style, which I'm quite happy with. I think that's a decent solution. And it looks a really respectable block. And this must have been the old St. George's Club. Yeah, I recognize this here as the club. I think I covered a story or two press as a journalist in that building. And we're getting back to where we were at the beginning. Yeah, so this just is a map of where we were. Here's Park Drive, and I parked about there, headed down past this church. I think it's here, Pearson Street, and then around bottom of Parliament Street to about here, then I think back up Parliament, back up the street here, and then down again, down Parliament. Yeah, can't remember. Anyway, ended up at the Tech here, Westbourne Oval, and that church, and then back towards St. George's. Here's Oasim here. This is the old Kinney Park. So I parked there somewhere. Rink Street, and the horse memorial would have been roughly in this area. Yeah, so we'll get on to some fynbos next, but for now, cheers.